Hey. Hey, Grubble. Yeah, I'm putting away Baldur's Gate right now. I already finished Colorless, Lands, and Green. So I'm doing white next. I'm dividing it by type. And then I alphabetize each. And I keep 4 of everything in a binder, even if it's commons. And I put the rest in like a chaff box, basically. So I don't just put commons in that box. I put everything in my binder so that I have 1 of everything, because hey Trenton, what's up, fool? Yeah, sometimes I need something that's just a common, and I don't want to have to look through like a giant box to find it. So if I know like what I need and what set it's in, I'll just look in like that binder. So I'm putting together like a Baldur's Gate binder right now. And I have just a couple pages of each color, and I'll just like put up to 4 of each of like the same card in one little slot, and then I'll look for it like that. So I divide them first into like piles by color, and then when I go through each color, I divide them by type, and then alphabetize each type. And anything more than 4, I know I shouldn't put more than 1 card in a pocket, but like whatever, we out here. So I'll put like up to 4 in a pocket, and then anything more than that I'll put in like the box. I don't care if it's like, you know, I doubt I'll have more than 4 of a valuable card. If I know it's valuable, I'll set it aside and put it in a trade binder. But if it's not particularly valuable, I'll throw it in a box. I don't do by mana value. I do look at mana value like when I'm deck building, but once I know what I'm putting in a deck, then I know like the name of the card, and I'll look for it alphabetically. You know what I mean? But even commons, like I don't care if it's common, it goes in the binder, because I don't want to think like, oh, it's bulk, I'm going to check a bulk box, which is like all mixed in with like who knows whatever else. Like whatever sets from different, you know, releases. So even if it's bulk, I still put it in a binder and have at least a few copies of it, just so I can find it for my own sanity. It just works for me. Everybody's like, why are you putting commons? That's like bulk. Why are you putting that in your binder? I'm like, let me live, okay? Like, I'll never find it if I put it somewhere else. And like one day, that 1 common card is like the one I need. You know what I mean? It's funny because when I first started a binder, like when I had enough to put into a binder, my my LGS was like, oh, you're putting things in a binder? Hey, Bobby. Oh, hey, Miss Eldridge. Thank you. I'm not cracking. I'm just sorting. So it's really boring. I mean, unless you want to see what I have, but but I'm chatting, and we're talking about how we sort our stuff. Yeah, I'm up late and I'm sorting, and I figured why not get these hours in, and I'm kind of bored. I had nobody to talk to, so I figured why not chat with folks while I'm doing this. So thank you for the raid, little Ronsters. Thank you for the raid. I really appreciate it, and I'm grateful that you are all here keeping me company. Feel free to ask me any questions about my process or discuss how you prefer. I was just talking about how when I amassed enough cards to start a binder and start like, you know, dividing things up, my LGS was like, so you're starting a binder? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, how are you doing it? How are you sorting your cards? And I'm like, oh gosh, is there a right way? Like, shit, what the fuck do I say? So I was like, well, oh, thank you so much, Deanna. Thanks so much for subbing. I appreciate it. Thank you. Um, yeah, so, I just said, I'm nursing a weird cough. I COVID tested and I'm negative, but I have a weird, like, allergy postnasal drip thing going on. It's real fun and sexy. Um, so yeah, I told them that I bought a binder in every color, which I did. I bought a green binder, a red binder, a black binder, blah blah blah, and I was splitting everything up by color and then by type. And my LGS owner was like, "Oh my god, I'm so proud of you." And I was like, "Bless, that's so adorable." And I was like, "So am I doing it right?" And they were like, "Yeah, but I mean, it's like, it's what works for you." And I was like, "Oh shit, you made me so nervous that there was like a wrong way." And they were like, "No, no, like, you're doing it fine." But I had like all mixed sets in there, because like whatever pack I cracked, they all, like, if it was white, it went in the white binder, etc. But now I just have so many that it started to like overflow the binders. So I have started, instead of just creating binders by color, I've divided them by set if I've gotten like boxes of them. Um, Anything like prior to like me buying boxes, they'll just be in a general like color binder, because they're kind of a mishmash and they're all mixed in together. So it's like Strixhaven and Previous are just in like a mishmash binder. But after that, anything after that, it was it's going in its own binder by like set. So this is Baldur's Gate, and I'm working on white right now. Yeah, I know a lot of people said it took 5 days to test positive, but I've been testing daily. Um, so far, I tested on Monday before leaving Seattle, and I was negative, and then I didn't feel cruddy until about Wednesday, so I took a test Wednesday. Well, Tuesday I started feeling cruddy, but I took another test Wednesday and it was negative. I took one Thursday, it was negative. I took one today and it was negative. So yeah. I I immediately, as soon as I came home, I I started getting really, really bad allergies, which is typical when I travel and come home. I start getting really bad allergies. So I started feeling like sniffly and stuffy and sneezy and all that. And then overnight, I would get completely congested and like mouth breathe. And then I was waking up with like a sore throat in the morning. And now I kind of have like this raspiness and a little bit of a cough. And I'm thinking and hoping that it's just from like the allergies and the postnasal drip, because I keep testing negative. But I haven't really gone very many places, and if I went somewhere like to a store or whatever, I wore a mask and made sure that I sat outside and was away from people. So I haven't really done very much, but Deanna, you asked how I'm sorting colorless and multicolor. Colorless has its own complete. I treat it like a color, and it has its own section, its own pages, and I divide it the same way by like creature type, sorcery, artifacts, etc. Um, but it's in its own, as if it was its own color. And multicolor, I have a pile of multicolor, and I just sort them to matching colors. So if they're like tricolor, they all go together by their matching colors, etc. But I'll put these together in like one page group or whatever. Um, yeah, that's how it makes the most sense to me. Let's see, I know I missed some stuff in the chat. I do have a binder for multicolor, a separate binder. Well, I did have a multicolor binder. Now, because this is all Baldur's Gate, this is all gonna go in a Baldur's Gate binder. But it will have its own pages. Like, the multicolor will be separate. Yay, I'm glad you got a good Pokemon as your start. It's a fun in-chat game. They like randomly pop up, and then you have to like try to boss each other out for who catches it. It kind of just happened by accident, Bobby. It wasn't like super intentional. It just like I had them divided by color and my binder filled up, and I was like, I'm just gonna have like a bunch of binders that are like all white or all black or all, you know, whatever, and they're all gonna just be all mixed in. Like, initially I had them alphabetized. Like, I had creatures on this page and they're alphabetized, and artifacts on this page and they're alphabetized, and I would leave spaces to put like new cards. But then when I inevitably ran out of space, I was like, well, I can't like alphabetize them anymore. There's no room to put new ones. So I decided that the best option was to just do it by set, because that way, if I know the card that I'm, like, if I'm building a deck online and I know that I'm using this card, I'm gonna know what set it's in, so I know where to look for it. And if it exists in multiple sets, then, like, you know, even still, I'll know, like, which two binders it might be in or whatever. So, I will keep, like, just a white binder, black binder, you know, like, color binder for anything that's prior to when I started really amassing cards. But any set that I've bought boxes for, like New Capenna, Double Masters, Baldur's Gate, Commander Legends, maybe even Jumpstart, those boxes I will put into their own binders. So far I've done Kamigawa, New Capenna, I'm doing Baldur's Gate now. I have a couple, like, little piles of New Capenna and Kamigawa I have to put away. But yeah, little by little, it's all coming together. And then I'll finally be able to freaking build these decks I've been meaning to get to. And I've just been putting them aside because I don't want to buy cards just out of eagerness to have the deck completed when I might already have these cards in hand. So I'm trying to be a little bit more frugal with buying singles that I might already have an abundance of. So yeah, I'm trying to maybe not waste money on things I already have. But I don't know what I have when everything is in freaking piles. So sorting is very valuable to me right now and necessary. It's very time consuming and sometimes lonely and boring, so I just figured why not stream it, because I like talking to people and I like when people ask me questions and engage me and give me ideas. And this is valuable conversation, so thanks for being here with me. And I am welcoming any questions or comments or ideas you might have, or decks you're building. What is everyone working on? No, nothing is set aside, actually. Everything is just by type and alphabetized. If there's something that I see value in, that maybe I want to like trade, or you know, if I know I'm not going to use it, then I'll set it aside. But otherwise, everything goes in the binder. I'm a fucking savage. It's all mine. I mean, I rarely ever like sell or trade cards. I'm going to, now that I've amassed more, but I haven't fully like made a trade binder yet. I will though. Ooh, Trenton can help you there, Geek Weirdly, I'm sure. He loves some green Disgusto savagery. EK, I think, has a Selvala deck. That's pretty nasty. If you're looking for places for tips. My unsolicited advice. I saw, Bobby, that you were building Godzilla. How did that go? I saw a baby Godzilla card the other day, and it was in Japanese, and I have no idea what it says on it, but it was just so cute that I almost bought it, and then I was like, what am I doing? Because I do collect cards in other languages, but I promised myself it would only be languages that I actually speak or can read, and I'm pretty much limited to Romance languages there. So, yeah, I will not buy anything in like Chinese or Japanese because I can't read it. I do speak Spanish fluently. I took French for several years. I don't think in French, but I can understand it. I can read it very well and translate it. I do understand Portuguese and Italian pretty well as a result of speaking Spanish. Sí, mis padres son latinos, mi mamá es de Cuba, mi papá de España. So yeah, I speak Spanish fluently. Fun fact. Pero yo nací aquí. I love collecting Spanish cards. I do have some Portuguese cards, and some, like I have a French Sensei's Divining Top, a Spanish one, a couple English ones. I have, some Italian, like, dual lands and things like that. México es uno de mis países favoritos, me encanta. Me encanta visitar la Ciudad de México, más que nada. La última vez que fui a Ciudad de México, hace como 2 años, visité a las pirámides, Xochimilco, me encanta. Yeah, I love Mexico. It is one of my favorite. I've been to some other Latin American countries, Peru. I haven't done very much of South America, actually. I travel a lot of Europe, so I've been to Spain several times. I've been to like a lot of island countries, like, you know, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, things like that. Costa Rica. Yeah, but I love Mexico. I've been all over Mexico, but Mexico City is one of my favorite places, and it is very underrated. Because it's not a beach town, it's a city. A lot of folks don't think to go there, and it is really, really contemporary and great. Like, some of the top rated restaurants in the world are in Mexico City. One of them being Pujol. I've eaten there, and it is fantastic and really hard to get a reservation at, but well worth it. And a meal that in New York City, the equivalent meal could easily cost you $1,000. In Mexico City, this #1 restaurant in the world was like $150 a person max, like including drinks, and it was like multiple courses, like tasting menu. It just was this like incredible, phenomenal place, and I can't say enough about it. If you ever go to Mexico City, try to get a reservation at Pujol. You won't regret it. It is one of the best experiences I've ever had. Very well worth it. Wow, I just put too many of these. I'm forgetting my own policy. And Mexico City is very, very close to the pyramids. So it's like maybe an hour out of the way. So yeah, you're in the city, and there's a lot to do and see in the city, but you're also really close to like historic ruins and sites. It's really a beautiful city to visit. So one of my favorites. I am not Mexican, but I have a very big affinity for Mexican culture and music and food, and it is one of my top places to visit in the whole wide world. Highly recommend it to anyone who has never been. I love Mexican street corn. I love like for real legit like Mexican tacos and like I love food, period. Like elote and esquites. I think it's like my favorite food. If ever I see like some kind of variation of corn on the menu, I will always get it. And like when they make that like aged mole, you know, it's so almost sweet. It's so good. Ugh. Now I'm gonna want Mexican food tomorrow. I do have a couple good like really good Mexican spots by me that are like legit and they're like high quality. Bobby with the spicy candies. Meanwhile, I have Starburst next to me and I'm dropping them because like my desk is so overcrowded. I'm trying to soothe my sore throat with a dark beer. It's probably a bad idea, but here we are. What noble hair? Oh, this one. That is a good one. It's kind of similar to, a little bit to, like, Kelith, because I have Kelith in the Yoshimaru 99. Commander creatures you own. When this creature enters the battlefield at the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 1/1 counters on a creature they control. For each opponent who does, you gain protection. Yeah, that is pretty good, but I feel like a lot of people don't take the deal. I wish they did. I am setting aside, you will see me set aside all of the backgrounds. That is because I'm gonna release to you a little secret. Right? That's what I said, Katie. Alcohol kills the germs. That's my logic, too. I almost went with gin, but I'm just not in that kind of mood tonight. So, you're gonna see me separate out all the backgrounds because I am building an Oops All Backgrounds deck. So I have chosen Ramos as my commander because your girl loves a colorless commander. It's kind of what I'm known for now with Traxos. So, I have decided because Ramos is colorless but all colors, he's gonna allow me to be able to utilize every single background in Baldur's Gate. So I'm going to put all 30 backgrounds in it in hopes of making him a Super Voltron commander with all of the abilities with the backgrounds. And I excuse me, I am going to that's why I asked yesterday for creatures that ramp because I'm expecting to have to recast Ramos quite a bit. Actually, I want that foil. I'm expecting to recast Ramos quite a bit, so I want to be able to make sure that I have creatures that are blockers, but also can be utilized to ramp so that I have enough mana to recast Ramos, whenever necessary. So I'm still planning it, because also Ramos, once he gets a certain amount of counters on himself, I'll be able to create a lot of mana to cast a lot of things. So I don't know how, like, I might put a couple, like, big creatures in there and just, like, stomp wide. But I'm thinking I might do some Myriad action. I might do some, like, you know, equipments like Blade of Selves and things like that. So I'm gonna have a lot of colorless ramp, but I want also a lot, like, I want it to be different than Traxos, in that Traxos tends to attack alone and doesn't create very many other creatures. And then I don't have a lot of defenses if people are attacking me with multi-creature. So, for example, thinking of my own decks, I built a Giada deck, and Giada makes a butt-fuck ton of big, beefy angels. And if I were playing against me, like, if I cloned myself and one of me was playing Giada and the other of me was playing Traxos, I would swing out at myself with 5 fucking angels, and me, the Traxos player, would have no response, because at most, Traxos, if he has the right equipment on him, can block 1 flyer alone, but after that, it's like I've got no defense. So I want to build Ramos in the sense that it's the anti-Traxos deck, where it's Voltron, but it's not just himself. I want to be able to cast a lot of creatures that at least serve as blockers and ramp. So I haven't playtested it at all. It's just a rough idea, but I know that half the deck is done when you have 30 backgrounds, 35 lands, Ramos, and then, like, maybe, like, 10 ramp pieces, 10 removal pieces, and then the rest are just, like, the ramping creatures that I need. So, like, almost the whole deck is pretty much done in my mind, but I have to fine-tune and decide which of those creatures I'm gonna put in. An Alron pod. Yeah, kind of crazy. It's just a fun, freaky, weird idea that I have, but I'm feeling that idea right now. So it's silly, and if it doesn't pan out the way I think, then oh well, you know? I have a lot of the, you know, because there's so much from Baldur's Gate, like, I'm pretty sure I have all of the backgrounds, so it's like, it's not costing me any more to build this from things I already have, you know what I mean? I have a lot of artifacts already, so I think it'll be an easy build, relatively easy, anyway. Now I'm setting aside the creatures, which is always the most time consuming. So I'm starting with A, B, C, D, because it's just too overwhelming if I take the whole pile and try to alphabetize it all at once. So I just go in groups of letters first. And my hands are too small. You saw Sisei, all backgrounds. I feel like Sisei is fucking tough and badass, and that sounds scary to me already. And my decks tend to be pretty silly, but if I can make it work, and in my mind, it's not gonna be nasty, but if I can get it to be nasty, that'll be really good, because I don't really have any decks that are like nasty. And what I mean by nasty is, they're not fast, they don't win turn 5 or 6, they're not like, you know, go for the throat type shit. Like, I don't have any decks that make tokens. I don't have any decks that go infinite or have combos. I don't have, aside from like infinite mana, I have an infinite mana combo in Traxos, and that's it. I have no combos, no win cons outside of like alternate win cons. Like, all of my decks are pretty straightforward, and they're not that nasty. In the sense that, like, I care a lot more about synergy and making sure that my deck functions as a mechanism, more than anything else. So, that's kind of how I've prioritized my builds for a while. But now I want to, you know, this just sounds like a fun idea, but if it ends up being tough, like, cool, then it'll be tough, you know? But I won't know till I build it. So we'll see. But thank you. I'm glad it sounds like a fun idea. I'm hoping to build that, like, really soon. Yeah, I'm going 100%. Like, there are some backgrounds that I don't care for, and, you know, there's some that definitely I like more than others and can see myself using more than others, but what's the point of calling it all backgrounds if you're not going to include all the backgrounds? Like, that's the shtick. So, they're all fucking going in there, whether I like them or not. And that's it. Yeah, it's gonna feel very different with, yeah, it's gonna feel very different than Traxos, I think. And I'm gonna mix some artifacts, because yes, the backgrounds are enchantments, but I'm gonna mix some artifacts in there as well, just to have things protected a little bit better, and, yeah, I think it'll be good. Yeah, I love all that glitters. It should be fun. I'm excited for it. I think it's kind of like a fun idea and like a little bit unique, and it seems or feels very me. I like a Voltron, I like a colorless. I've never built a 5-color deck, so this will be my first one. I do have Stranger Things, but it is a 4-color deck. So yeah. This should be fun. I'm eager to build it. It's been, like, turning the gears in my mind for a while, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. Come on. And, like, I do love a Voltron, because Yoshimaru is a little bit Voltron as well. I've been doing a lot of mono white lately, and I tend to do a lot of Voltron. So I definitely have a style. I definitely have, like, preferences, but when I'm not doing Voltron, I'm doing a little Saxy a little bit, I think. Oh, that's fun. The charms? That's a good idea. I sound great. Super sexy. We're healthy out in these streets. Don't you love it when you have, like, an aggressive cough and, like, you can't even just cough, like, cute? It's, you like, open mouth, tongue out cough. It's like, ugh! And then, like, you know, if you're in the streets, you know, the wild streets, people are like, what the fuck? And they look at you like you have the fucking plague. And so I can't, the moral of the story is I can't go anywhere because I can't cough adorably like a cutesy little tee-hee human. I'm like, "Wah!" Sideways critters, Grubble. Grubble, I really like playing with you. And I don't want you to take this the wrong way, because I mean, I just, you know, when you haven't played with somebody, you don't know if you're gonna enjoy playing with them or not until you just do, you know? And like, I've seen your name and like your icon across the Twitters, for a while, and I was like, oh, he seems fine enough. Like, he seems nice, right? Like, but I just didn't know anything about you, and I didn't know, like, if it would be just particularly fun to play with you or just, like, you know, a game. Like, cool, it was fine, whatever. But I had so much fun playing with you, and if you've never played with Grubble, I super recommend it because Grubble was really, really fun to play with. And let me tell you, I felt so good about myself playing with Grubble because he laughed at all my jokes. And I feel like I form bonds really quickly with people that laugh at my jokes. And I mean, maybe that's just like super arrogant of me to say, but like when people laugh at my jokes and think I'm funny, I just immediately like gravitate towards them and I'm like, oh, we're friends now, you like me. So you can't escape me, Grubble, you're stuck. You don't really have a choice. Sorry. It was, yeah, it was really fun. I had a good time playing with you. So, what a great, Bobby, I'm glad that you've asked because Grubble has a really great personality and just is so, like, easygoing and chill, and I really liked the vibe of playing with him. It was very nice. Enjoyable game. And Bobby's stream is one of the best streams to be on because she's also very chill. Oh, don't get shy and mushy on me, Grubble. I also should have you know that, like, my lights around me are, like, LED, and so they don't, like, really give off heat. But there's something in this office that makes me fucking hot, and I'm always cold. So, I don't know why, but, like, every time I sit here and stream, I'm, like, sweating. I'm schwitzing. Schwitzing in here. And, like, I don't want to turn on my ceiling fan because it makes, like, hella noise, and it's annoying. So I'm just here struggling for you. You're welcome. And thank you for the suggestion, Bobby. I know you said that, like, that one card you saw on the table goes really well in one of the decks that I have. So if you guys see anything kind of like that, like, feel free to share. I know I put things not in alphabetical order, but whatever. It's on the right page. It's fine. Let's go H-I-J-K-L. I don't know that there's a lot of JK. Oh, shit. That's fast. You finished Selvala already? Shit. I'm scared. I'm not ready for Selvala. Hey! What's up? Jonathan has entered the chat. I'm just sorting and talking shit like I do. So feel free to ask questions or share whatevs. I found all my Lulu cards. I built a Lulu deck, but I haven't finished putting it together. Well, like, I haven't finished taking out the singles I need for it, so. But I got hella Lulu cards. Which I'm always excited about. I'm not mad at it. I love Lulu. Alright, H-I-J-K-L. P. Oh, wow. Forgot Lulu. Bobby says, I was worried about my opponent not taking the deal, but since you can just put counters on your own stuff, it ended up being super cracked anyway. That's true. Good. Good point. Lulu, the Hollyphant. I got way too much of this Pegasus. I mean, I plan to, it's like my Frank's Red Hot, like, I will put this Pegasus in everything, but I drafted a mono white deck, when I did a Baldur's Gate draft, and that Pegasus had really good synergy with, like, the Tabaxi Toucaneurs, and it had some really good interaction. Thank you! Thanks for subscribing! Hey, I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you. I really appreciate it. My friends are so freaking cool and amazing. Y'all about to make me mushy on a late night. Thank you for popping in, Geek Beardly. Have a good night. I'm not going to do W yet. Lord. So what's up? What has everybody been doing? Because I have just been from con to con, and I am already planning, like, I leave for Gen Con on Wednesday because Gen Con is long. It's Thursday through Sunday. So I leave on Wednesday, and I think I'm gone until Monday night. So I appreciate that you popped in, though. Thank you for, like, hanging tight and watching. That helps me a lot. I knew I was taking a chance coming in late, and I didn't know if anybody would be interested in watching me sort or keeping me company and talking and chatting. So, you know, I knew this was a risk, but I figured why not? I would take the chance because it gives me hours on stream, which I haven't been able to do as much as I like because I've been away at cons. And I am getting in my hours and chatting with friends who are available, and I'm so grateful that you guys are here. So I'm happy to hear about anything that you've built or are building, and anything you're excited about, anything you want to see me build, anything you want to know that I have in mind to build, any questions about cons. I am going to Gen Con in a couple days, really. Oh shoot, you're cleaning old sleeves? Bless your heart. I feel like I have some decks that have already worn out their sleeves, and I haven't even played them like that much, but just like, I don't know. I feel like everything needs an upgrade already. And I have like some decks that have like one sleeve that ripped, and I don't know where the extras are. So I'm always struggling with sleeves. That's why when we were at Bellevue, I was like, I need to get new sleeves like the fucking Dickens. And then when we went to the prize wall, I just got like 5 packs of sleeves because I was like, I need sleeves so much. Oh, that's a good idea, Grubble. I bought the Infinite tokens relatively recently. Like, I've had them for a while now, But yeah, I bought them pretty recently. I love when it fits like just perfectly. Like that's the last one. It's the last space. I love that. All right, let's go black. Ugh. Yeah, I got the little circle tokens, and I got the full infinite tokens, and then that like I don't what brand is it? Ultra Guard? No, Ultimate Guard or something like one of the bigger companies like totally ripped off infinite tokens, and they called it something like even similar. It's like forever tokens or something like that. Like I don't know. Um, it was something along the same vein, and it's even a similar design on the box. Like it just is a blatant ripoff, and I'm like so sad for infinite tokens because like the LGSs sell those products because they're like they come in from the major companies that sell products to or license LGSs. So people that only play really like in person and locally that maybe don't have the exposure to watch streams where folks like us are using infinite tokens, it like minimizes the exposure of the actual infinite tokens company, and yeah, it's wild. Look it up. I can't think of the name, but I think it's Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard. I'm just gonna put dry erase tokens. Yeah, they're called multi tokens, and they are like $1 less a pack than Infinite Tokens sells them for. Um, so they also come in a pack of 25. And they're $10.49, and Infinite Tokens sells them for $11.95. But Infinite Tokens is a small company, and they are a real person that actually does play games on stream with folks, and they work really, really hard and have created this idea and this thing that is so beloved like amongst us, and this major company just sort of like swooped in and took it. I mean, I don't know the full story, so I don't want to like talk smack, but it looks like Infinite Tokens was certainly first, and all of a sudden this major company came with the same idea, and now they're selling this product at a lower cost all across the country in stores and online. And it's kind of a bummer. I kind of hate when stuff like that happens. I was friendly with a small business group that was they created initially like fandom jewelry and accessories, and then later they opened up their own makeup company, and they got like licenses to big brands like Game of Thrones and Star Wars, and they were able to release product under this licensure. And there were some companies that they couldn't get licensures for because they were just too big and too costly, like Disney or Harry Potter or something like that. But they got a lot of really good things. Um, and they met once with a very famous creator and voice actress who is affiliated heavily with Star Wars and Disney, and has her own clothing brand as well. And they were very honored to be able to meet with her, And from what they say, because I don't know, this company, these folks that own this company eventually had a little drama of their own, and customers were not pleased with them. So I don't know how true this is, but they say that they had to sit down with this woman who was the owner of a clothing company and voice actress and, very big recognized person in, like, the fandom community. They say that she basically jacked their idea. Like, they told her everything they were planning, and then she just went ahead and did it before they did. And, like, Hot Topic was releasing her product from her brand, and it was all, like, the same ideas that they had presented to her. And they had, like, sketches and things that looked very similar to the product that she released, because she, has warehouses and the means to release things with haste. So, it certainly appeared, or at least these girls made it appear, that this woman, basically, like, jacked their ideas and was very, like, unapologetic about it. And there was not much that they could do, because while they had, like, agreements to the licensures, they just didn't have, like, the legal power to go up against a company of that size. I don't know, how true it all was, but apparently stuff like this happens all the time. Like, smaller companies do get their ideas stolen and they get shafted by larger companies, and it's very hard to stop it, unfortunately. And then when they try to stop it, they get, like, cease and desist, because I'm sure by now Ultimate Guard is probably trying to patent this, this product. And if or when they do, then they could tell Infinitokens that they can't release that product, even though they were, like, the first one. It would become, like, a big legal thing, I imagine. But I mean, just because I'm a small business owner and I am very careful, I do create fandom related content, product. I'm very careful with copyrights and copyright infringement and things like that. I don't want to, like, I definitely want to be inspired by a fandom, but I don't want to, like, completely rip off of it or intend to monetize off of somebody else's thing. But it happens to me too. There are other fandom candle companies out there that kind of stole similar ideas or label designs or whatever, things that I had put out first. And some things really aren't worth it. Some things I'm just like, oh, whatever. I'm flattered that they want to copy me. And other things, sometimes you try to, like, confront the business owner and say, like, hey, I put this idea out first or whatever. And then, like, it happens at Disney all the time. Disney will release licensed products that small creators have already made. So, like, yes, Disney sells their own, like, Mickey ears for the parks, and there are small shops that wanted to make their own because they wanted specific ones that maybe Disney didn't make. So they started making their own or selling them on the internet, and then, like, boom, lo and behold, as soon as, like, one specific ear blew up, all of a sudden now Disney has it licensed in their stores. And once they have it licensed in their stores, that small shop may get a cease and desist, even though they were the ones who, like, technically released it first. They can't prove that Disney stole that idea from them or that design. There's no way to prove it. So Disney will say, like, as much as I love Disney, Disney will say, oh, it's just purely coincidental. We had no idea. We've never seen this company before ever. But anyway, they shouldn't be selling Disney product on Etsy. So boom, cease and desist, So it's a really tricky line. Like, there are some battles that you just can't fight, even though you know that your product idea was stolen. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening with infinite tokens. I could be wrong, but it just looks that way to me. Hey, Phyrexian Fangirl, welcome in. Thanks for popping in. I'm just sorting and chatting. We're having conversation. And not checking my text messages, apparently. Oh, I'm dropping things. Hey. Alright, cool. I'm glad that you're in for some of your favorite stuffs here. I am literally just sorting, putting things away, talking shit to my friends. And we're talking about everything and anything, mostly Magic the Gathering related stuff, because we were talking about infinite tokens. But yeah, we're talking about a lot of stuff. So feel free to chat, ask questions, talk to each other, keep me busy. Alright. Oh, I thought that was it for a second. I was sorely mistaken. Damn it. Alright. Oh, man. I'm really fucking it up here. Thanks for lurking, Katie. I appreciate it. And have a good night if I miss you. Yeah, you need to have those good, those prophetic dream packs, right? Oh my god, this is so hard to do with another pack in my hands. Yes, okay. E, A, C. Oh my god, there's so many A's. I'm gonna have to fucking move this whole thing around. God damn it. I got over eager. Fuck. Ugh. Okay. Alright, it's fine. It's fine. We'll just do it. We're good. I love dice roll cards. I want to make a dice roll deck. There's so many decks in my brain. I don't have time or money for it all, but let's go. I'm gonna need like a sugar daddy that like doesn't want anything from me, but just wants to see me happy. And like wants to give me money because teehee. So I was having a conversation the other day about being an internet personality, and I never really considered myself an internet personality. Even now, I don't think I have a big enough following to call myself that, but I do know that I have a following and I have a certain reach, and I do have an audience, and I was having a conversation with somebody about how difficult it is for your partner to be comfortable with that, because, you know, while there's a certain element of trust, you know, if I'm with somebody, I'm just going to be with that person, and that person will trust me, I hope, but at the same time, you know, there's the reality that people are constantly going to be reaching out to me, and often do. Some people, you know, some people slide in the DMs, some people leave flirty messages or whatever. And you can't be an insecure personality if you are going to date somebody who has an online presence. Um, and that can be really challenging. I imagine that it is probably difficult for a lot of folks to be comfortable with the notion that their partner is desired or, leaving an impression on the masses, if that makes sense. And I never really thought of it like that because I never really thought of myself like that. But, yeah, it does seem like an incompatibility, right? But I kind of said that. I was just like, I would hope that somebody trusts. I think some jealousy is natural, but I would hope that somebody trusts me and their faith in our relationship to know that no amount of flirtation, no matter where it comes from, is going to change our relationship or affect our relationship. Um, and if it was ever going to, there needed to be like open communication about that. But again, that could happen at any point, not just with online personalities, because like I'm a person online that people know, and I have dated people that are not online personalities, and we're doing all kinds of things behind my back. So, without even having an online presence. So, like, you know, you just never know. I think there just has to be a level of honesty. If you don't want to be in the relationship anymore, you gotta say so. Um, Before, moving forward. But But I understand that some people may not be comfortable with or may have challenges with the notion of dating an online personality. And I could see that. It's probably not always the easiest. Yeah, I agree, Bobby. Thanks for that. I mean, I'm just a, a stream face, you know what I mean? Like and a Twitter face. But there are some folks who are, they have like OnlyFans and things like that, and there is a sexual connotation to their content, and I don't make content like that, but I imagine that it's probably even worse for them because the people that are purchasing their content are there for sex. You know what I mean? Like they're there for primarily. Some people are in it for the art of it or the burlesque aspect of it, the performance aspect of it. There's a multitude of reasons why people um, sign up for things like OnlyFans, but there is um, often a sexual connotation, and I think it takes a really secure partner to be okay with that, and to know that this is just essentially a job where I'm a face on a screen, and people are here as my customer, and I'm never gonna like know them personally. They're never gonna touch me. They're never gonna see me. You know what I mean? Like it's just a photo on a page kind of thing. But I can see that they probably have a challenging time finding partners, I would imagine. Wow, Grubble, really? So you were with somebody who did not like you as an online presence? Is that what you're saying? I agree with you, Bobby. I think that if you know that you can't handle it, then you shouldn't date somebody who does that. Ooh, Grubble. That's too possessive. Thank you for sharing that. That is, that sounds challenging. I appreciate that you shared that, but that is really like, I mean, if it's just your hobby and it's something you want to do and you're not hurting anybody, you're just having a good time, like, what's the problem? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know you to be, like, a flirty presence or anything like that. So, I don't see why, like, you just making content would ever be problematic, but I'm not in that mindset. I'm like, I'm a boring, cis, hetero, monogamous female. You know what I mean? Like, there are some people who are in very interesting relationships and it works for them, but that's just not a lifestyle that I have ever been comfortable with. So yeah, I am monogamous, and I do have, like, you know, a flirty personality, but it's all in fun, and my friends are my friends, you know, like, I wouldn't do that with somebody I wasn't really comfortable with, and, like, that I knew I could joke with and banter with. And if I'm, like, with somebody, and they told me, like, that makes me uncomfortable, then, you know, we would have a conversation about it, and either I would put them at ease or I would change my behavior because I care about what my partner thinks. But you're right, I would never allow a partner to tell me, you can't do this. You know, like, you can't stream or you can't be a personality. Like, no, why not? You know what I mean? I can do both. Well, I'm glad that you found a different way, Grubble, because otherwise I would have never met you. And you are so valuable to me and to this community. And I'm grateful that we got to meet. So I am glad that you're no longer with that person, because that person did not sound right for you. I'm sure that they were a lovely person in many other ways, but you weren't compatible. And I think in this community, when you're in any way a public figure, you have to be with somebody who's very secure with that. And some people think, yes, it will. You're not arrogant. You won't let it get to you. Some people think that they want to be with somebody with a presence, right? Like, they idealize the notion that they want to be with this, you know, internet personality. And then they get there and they can't handle it. And it's like, yeah, you're not the only one. Lots of people want to be with that person, you know? And lots of people will try. And lots of people will reach out and make comments to and say things to the person that you are with, you know, exclusively. And I think not everybody's cut out for that. Not everybody's built for that. And it's hard. But yeah, it takes a special person. See, that's the other side of it too, Bobby. When you have a partner that's so good looking and everybody wants them, you're like, yeah, that's my partner. You know, like, that's another way of looking at it, but not enough people do. Not enough people look at it that way. And some people take it for granted, you know? I'm sure I have a few folks that are kicking themselves for choices they've made and things that they've done to me, because now I have a relative number of success, or I don't know the right word, but I have, like, a presence in a community that they care about, and you know, they don't get to talk to me anymore. Yeah, I think that's a really good way of looking at it, Bobby. And not enough people do look at it that way. We're doing great, by the way. This has really passed the time, so thank you to everybody who's here and like hanging out, watching, lurking, chatting. This is really helping me pass the time, and I've plowed through, like I had piles and piles, and I have plowed through many a color already, so I'm super grateful that you are all here keeping me motivated, because this is something I have been like setting aside forever, and I'm like, they were just piling and piling and piling, and not only was my desk unruly and out of hand, but I couldn't get to finishing my decks because I just didn't know what I had and what I needed, and I was like, no, I can't do this. So I'm grateful that you're all here late night keeping me company. I always think I'm like down to the wire, and I'm like, okay, I can just start laying them out, and then I realize that I'm not anywhere near it. Cool, great. Alright, let's put the V pile elsewhere because that's gonna be a lot. Wait, what are you battling? I don't know what's happening. There's a Pokemon battle in the chat? I'm sure I installed it and I don't even know how it works, but I just was like, this is cool. Let's put it in there. I actually really love it because, I don't know how it looks on your page, but on my page, it, has a little, like, when I go down to my tabs, I can see all of the Pokemon that I've collected. So, I don't know if you have that on yours as well. And there's also like an exclamation point code that you can put, and you can see like all of the Pokemon in your like inventory, all the ones that you've caught from this game. So when you catch it in chat, it's not just for like right now. It's like they save, and you can compare and see like each other's Pokemon. It's really fun, and I thought that was like really cool. I thought that was a super fun feature. I really like that. So I was impressed with like the mechanism of this in-chat game, and I like it. And it took me like forever to figure it out because I'm an old lady when it comes to like this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, wow, I'm too old to like figure out this technology. I feel like I had this and now I don't know where it went. Did I not? The fuck? Really? Alright, we'll just put it here. And I think like the more active, like the more people chat and stuff, the more stuff appears, which is kind of fun as well. There's a lot of these, like, purpley cards. Weird. Alright, J, K, L, M. Alright, let's go M. Excuse me. P. Q, R, S. I think this Safana card is so pretty. The art on it is just like one of the most gorgeous, like, women I've ever seen in a Magic card. There's R's, god damn. There's more S's too. Some of them. Go for it, Bobby. I believe in you. You're doing great, honey. Okay. Good. There's only one R, so I'll just stick it in here. Let's put this S here. I'll put this in here. Thank you so much for keeping me company, everyone. I am really plowing through this because of you, so incredibly helpful. Alright, black is done. Now we just have Red, blue, and multicolor. No, it's not enough to be a binder per color. Because, for example, all of black, my sleeves are double, they're double pocketed, so there's like a little spacer in between, and you can put cards on both sides. So I am able to put cards on both sides of the sleeves. So, for example, black took up 3 pages, front and back. So it's like 6 pages total, but because it's front and back, it's only taking up like 3 pages. So I can put like a whole set in one binder. And it's, I mean, it's a little like, by the time I've finished everything, if I have a lot of cards, it can be tight, but usually if I use like a 1-inch binder, it's more than enough. It's more than fine. Yeah, I got them on Amazon, actually. And I just bought, like, they come in a pack of 100, and I bought 200 of them. And I bought a couple, like, perfect fit sleeves for, like, anything that's a little bit more expensive or really good pulls. Then I might, like, double sleeve them, or I might not put them in this binder. I might put them in a, like, more special binder. But for the most part, this is kind of, like, a little bit of everything. It's pretty, like, generic stuff. There's some stuff in here that's got, like, good value, but nothing, like, super crazy. What set is that? No, that's something else. So yeah, like, these are, I think, all of the red cards I have for Baldur's Gate, not including lands. I've already taken them out. So once I sort these, it will be, and once I remove out any excess, because I will remove out, if I have more than 4 copies of it, I take them out and I put them in a bulk box. So once I remove out the bulk, it should be about like 3 of these pages front and back. So, yay, Phyrexian Fangirl, you caught the Globopus. Yeah, right? I mean, I don't know if it's Globo or Globo, but it feels like Globo to me. Globo feels right. I'm going with Globo. Rebel, thank you so much for hanging out. Oh, and thank you for saying it's an awesome stream. Sleep well. Wow, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a big acre. Of course, anytime. I mean it from the heart. They are genuine comments. So, sleep well. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for hanging out. I sometimes separate out the legendaries as well. I did this for a while. Like the legendary creatures, I kept them on their own page. But there's so many legendaries in Baldur's Gate that I'm not going to do it for this set. I'm just going to put creatures or creatures or creatures. And I noticed that Wizards prioritizes creatures. Like if there's something that's like multiple types, like for example artifact creatures, even though it says artifact creature and even though it may be colorless, on Moxfield, it counts as a creature. So it's a creature before it's an artifact, despite its color and despite what it says. So even though it says artifact creature and it's colorless, on Mox Field, it's a creature. So Baldur's Gate has a lot of those things that are multiple things. So it's like a creature or an instant or a sorcery or an adventure. Like it can be like a bunch of things. And if it's a mishmash of things, it's a fucking creature, because I know that when I put it in Moxfield's going to count it as a creature. So I pretty much do things that are multiple things. I make sense of what they should be based on what they're classified as in Moxfield. So if I were to put it in a deck list, what would it be listed under? Would it be under an artifact, a creature, or whatever? And I kind of just use Moxfield rules, and that helps me determine where something should fit better than others. Because I don't freaking know. The Wizards knows. Yeah, like this one. So this, good night, Grubble. Thank you for hanging out. This is a creature, but it's also an instant and an adventure. So, you know, do I put it in creature or do I put it in instant? And I feel like Moxfield prioritizes this as a creature, especially because it has like a, you know, power and toughness. So cards like that I will always put in creatures because it just makes sense to me that they go there. Which unfortunately ends up with a lot of creatures in this particular set, but it be like that sometimes. Is anyone really excited about the new Dominaria stuff coming out? I'm excited about it just because it's new and I'm always excited. But I feel like my mind literally is still on Baldur's Gate. Like, I love Baldur's Gate. Love. There's so much in here that I want to build. And I haven't felt like that about other sets, you know? There's a lot in Baldur's Gate that I still want to build and my mind is still stuck there. And even though, like, Double Masters came out, to me, I'm treating it like reprints, and, I just... Sorry. I just, can't... I treat Double Masters almost like it's not a new set, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really thinking of it that way, but Baldur's Gate is still fresh in my mind, and I'm like trying to give it the love and time and respect it deserves because I'm not over it yet. I really like it, and I know that once Dominaria comes out, everybody's gonna like be building new stuff from that and forget all about Baldur's Gate, and I'm not done with it yet. Like, I'm not ready. I'm excited. I like new product, but I'm still here. I'm still living here. I am really, yeah, I'm hyped for it. I just am not ready for it. Like, I wish it was a little bit later. Just a little bit. Maybe like a month later. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so fast. Like, you know, nobody's talking about New Capenna anymore. Nobody's talking about Kamigawa anymore. Like, when Baldur's Gate came out, everybody made Baldur's Gate stuff, and like, sure, I still play Yoshimaru because like, I just built it not that long ago, but like, nobody's really like going back to what came out in New Capenna and building something from New Capenna. You know what I mean? Like, once a new set comes out, everybody wants to build from the new set, and like, I feel like a lot falls by the wayside. if you're not fast enough, and I'm certainly not fast enough, I don't have an endless stream of money to do that, you know? So I'm kind of not done with Baldur's Gate yet. But I am excited. I'm excited for Unfinity. I want to make an all silver border deck, so like I'm excited for a little bit of bullshittery. That to me is more exciting than Dominaria, though I am really excited for Dominaria. One thing I will say that I am really glad about Dominaria so far is that spoiler season has already happened, or started at least, for Dominaria, and the price hasn't gone up yet. When spoiler season happened for Double Masters, the price like immediately shot up, and I was kind of scared because I was like, oh, I don't want to buy Dominaria just yet. I'm buying all these tickets to all these cons and all these things, and like, you know, I'm doing a lot of travel plans, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait to pre-order Dominaria until I'm done with like at least all the cons. But I worried that with like preview season, it would drive the price up, and I would miss the opportunity to pre-order things early on when they were cheaper. So, I worried that what happened with Double Masters was gonna happen with Dominaria. Like, once previews came out, people were gonna like shoot up the price, and then it was gonna be like ungettable. So, I haven't seen that yet, thankfully. And I'm hoping it stays that way, because I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'll probably do it this week, just because I'm scared. But, yeah. I want everything. I want all the things. And all the secret layers charged the last couple weeks. There were 2 of them, because it was like, I'm still waiting on the Pride one, and then there was the Street Fighter one, and then something else. I don't know. There was like a fuck ton of stuff that charged this week, and I was like, whoa, I need to like chill for a little bit. Yeah, I feel like just buying singles is the way to go. I think there was really good value in the Double Masters collector booster boxes, but those prices were out of fucking control. I will admit, I did not buy a collector booster this time around because I just couldn't justify it. Yeah, I know that the collector booster boxes were good and they do retain their value. I just personally could not do it to myself. I was like, you know what? I have to draw the line somewhere. Night, thank you for popping in. Thanks so much. I know, but I think like if there was something I really wanted in terms of like a collector booster, I will probably just buy the single if I really, really want it. But it was like $400 to buy the fucking collector booster box, and I was like, no thank you, ma'am. Like, not in these streets. It was 4 packs. It just didn't seem fucking right or fair to me. So I wasn't doing it to myself. I couldn't justify it. And I have friends that did it, and like, good on them, but I couldn't justify it this time around. No, a lot of people do that. Lots of folks I know buy product to keep it sealed on the shelf. That is a huge thing. I personally do not have the willpower. That was like when I was a kid and people would buy me the Christmas Barbie And they were like, it's going to increase in value and you should keep it in the box. And I was like, but fucking why? Like, the point of a Barbie is to play with it, right? And, like, I just didn't understand why you should keep a Barbie in a box. And I did keep one in a box for a long, long time. And, like, then I, like, sneaky opened the box and played with her and then put her back in the box. And, like, I'm sure I already fucked up a value. And then inevitably, like, in my adulthood, I fucking threw it out. Like, I think by the time I was an adult, it was still, like, in my basement somewhere in like, pristine condition. And I think it was worth, like, $30 or something. And I was like, okay, so in the 80s, maybe somebody bought it for $10 and now it's worth $30. Like, this is not really, like, that worth it. I could have just been playing with it this whole fucking time. And I was butthurt about it. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not here to sell cards. I'm here to play with the cards. So every pack I crack, I'm hoping to get a card that I want, that I could use, that's going to be fun for me to play. And if ever I decide I don't want to play that card, then I'll either give it away or I'll use it in one of my classes, or I'll sell it or trade it for a card that I do need. But I'm not trying to make money off of things. Like, I don't have the fucking time to waste. I can die tomorrow and then I'm sitting on all these fucking boxes that I paid hundreds of dollars for, just sitting burning a hole on my shelf for what, you know? Maybe they'll be valuable, maybe they won't. You never know. Like, maybe a year from now, nobody will give a fuck about Magic anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know. There's no way to tell what is going to happen in the future or what's going to change. And I just don't want to sit on things anymore. I don't want to, like, have to store things. Your house could freaking catch on fire tomorrow, and then all that shit that you bought and is sitting there on the shelf that you never opened is gone. And then what? You know? Like, and I know that's grim, but I have to logic myself. I can't do it, you know? Like, I don't want to have packs to sit on a shelf. If I'm buying a pack, I'm fucking cracking it. And that's that. That's me, though. I know lots of people that save packs, but for what? I don't see the logic in it. Not for me, anyway. Bobby. Yeah, no, I would crack it, too. I would crack it, too. Especially if you know what you want to do with it. If you're doing something with it and you're like, I know exactly what I want this for. Fucking go. Live your life. It's yours to do with whatever you want. I will say, though, I can't get behind the flip it and rip it. Like, sure, it's your money and you can, like, do with it whatever you want. And if you want to rip your cards, fine. They're your cards. But, you know, there is a part of me that's like, ooh, but why are you doing that? You know? But at the same time, you know, it's stuff. At the end of the day, it's just things. Hey, it's your thing, you know? If you want to collect a sealed thing, like, Tori is a good friend of mine, and she wants to collect one sealed pack of every pack that's ever existed. And she wants to, like, you know, hang them and display them, and that's her thing. She's very adamant about it, and every so often she comes across a pack that is hard to get and is very expensive, and she buys it and has no intention of cracking it. She just wants to collect one of every pack that's ever existed. And she, like, frames them and displays them. So, anybody need lightning bolts? Because I got a fuck ton. All kinds. I hear people be liking a lightning bolt. So yeah, everybody's got their own thing, you know, and if that's your thing, if that's how you want to collect and that's how you want to you know, present your collection and keep it, that's on you. That's your life to live. That's your happiness. Nobody can take that from you. But I have friends that like just buy boxes upon boxes and leave them on a shelf. I'm like, why? Everybody needs a lightning bolt, right? Yeah, it's pretty great. So it's 3 damage to any target. Could that be like a person? Like, let's say that that person has no creatures and I just want to like hit it to their face. Could I just be like, take 3? Oh, see? Yeah, so that's good. That can make or break everything. Bobby, it's so funny because like your reputation is like the nice girl of Commander. So you're going like from 0 to 100. I believe in you though. I know that you can 100% be aggro. And I know that it wouldn't take much because you have the experience and the product to do it. But it's so unexpected because everyone's like, Bonnie's so nice. And you're like, pow, pow, pow. Take that, stupid bitch, you know? It's gonna be like a total turnaround. It's gonna be like when Sandy in Grease comes out with the tight leather pants. That's gonna be Bobby. Like, you know, tell me about it, stud. Bobby's gonna have like a Sandy moment. When she comes out with like the fucked up deck and everyone's gonna be like, it's Bobby, tee-hee, and she's gonna be like, you better shape up, boop, boop, boop. You know, that's what's gonna happen. I already see it. You heard it here first. Stupid bitches. It's true. Quinn, you play a practical but ruthless game. So, but necessary things must occur, and life loss is one of those things. So, I support it. Aw. The love in the chat. It's so good. Bobby, you're making everyone proud, okay? We're all proud of you. You're doing great. And no matter what you choose to do, we're still going to be proud of you. Hey Adam, welcome. I don't know if you were here earlier, but I'm just seeing you pop in the chat for like the first time in a while. So I'm just gonna say welcome as if you just popped in for now, for newsies. Adam, I like that you're up late like me. This pleases me. What you doing, Adam? What you doing? Adam, what do you do late at night? Because you're looking at what I do late at night, so share your stories. I always get insomnia in the summer. Insomnia is my summer personality. But watching? What series are you watching right now? I want to watch the new show on Prime, Paper Girls, because I read the comic. I was really obsessed with the comic. First of all, I love Image Comics. They're my favorite comic company. And I'm a big fan of Brian K. Vaughan, who writes Saga. He wrote Paper Girls, and I've been reading it. I have issue number 1 in comic and trade paperback. Like, I have been following Paper Girls and reading it since its beginning. And to find out that they created a show for it, I was very, very excited. It released a day early, but I have not been able to watch it yet. But I think I'm going to download it to my iPad and watch it on the plane to Gen Con. Oh, every episode of Harley Quinn, that's a good idea. Hey Anna, what you doing up, baby? Anna, are you going to Gen Con, by the way? I know I asked you, but I feel like maybe you were on the fence about it. So I want to know. Are you going to Gen Con? Because I got some feelings I need to unload. No, I'm just kidding. What do you mean? Can't afford what? The tickets or the hotel or what? Oh, that's right. There's another Anna in the chat. I was like, wait. What? It's late. I'm getting tired. I need to get back to the gym, because every time I, like, flick some of these cards, I feel like my bingo wing dangles. Like, I feel it flip-flopping around, and this makes me very self-conscious. I feel you, Anna. I feel you. I'm going, and I'm gonna try to be very frugal when I'm out there. I will. Thanks, Anna. Anna was my shoulder to cry on in Bellevue whenever I was feeling unwell, so I'm very grateful and appreciative to her. She was a very good friend. Bingo wing. You know what I'm talking about when I say bingo wing. It's the imagery. You knew it in your mind. Yeah, so I gotta get back to the gym. And stop being a bingo wing bitch in these streets. But you know, it's just, I paused the gym membership when everything got really bad again with the pandemic in January, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back in the summer when they start doing like outdoor classes again and stuff. But then I got so busy, and I've been like from con to con to con that like I never got back to the gym on a strict schedule. So that's my homework. I need to get back into that. But yeah, I'm trying to be a little bit frugal. It was really hard to get a room for Gen Con because I was gifted tickets a little bit late in the game by a company that is a sponsor of the event. And I was gifted the tickets to go, and I was able to get a flight, and the flight wasn't very expensive, But, by the time I was offered the tickets to go, there was no accommodations left. All the hotels were booked. All my friends that I knew that were going, had gotten, like, Airbnbs with other folks and were already full. And they were like, we'll keep asking around because people drop out all the time and people need to fill spots and blah, blah, blah. And I was fortunate enough to find a room with a space for me, which is nice because then everybody gets to split the cost and we're all kind of sharing, which is nice. And it's not going to cost everyone a fortune because I think there's 3 of us in the room. And we'll split it 3 ways instead of them splitting it 2 ways. So it'll lighten the load for everybody. And though it's not at no cost to me, it is a nice opportunity. And I will get to spend some time with my friends again. So I'm excited to go. Even though I'm gonna have to, like, sell my feet on the internet or something to recover. It's like, I will never financially recover from this, like, that kind of thing. Wait, you were in an ad for what? Wait, you were in an ad, but then they didn't give you tickets to go? Tell me more. Oh, I thought you meant you yourself were in an ad. Sorry. I was like, wait, they put you in an ad for the event and then didn't give you tickets to go? Okay, I got it. Never mind. I was gifted tickets to go by a company, so I didn't have to pay for the tickets to the event, and I did get 4-day tickets and everything like that, so I don't know if it's just general tickets or if my badge will say content creator or what. Like, I wasn't asked to do anything, but I was gifted tickets to go by a company. So I'm grateful for that. I just, as far as I know, I don't have any obligations, though I did offer. I said, if you need any help with anything, let me know. I'm happy to spend some time with my friends and, to see people that I don't often get to see. But I will be splitting a hotel with friends. I was fortunate enough to find a space, and it's going to be 3 of us in a hotel room, and so the kind folks that are letting me stay with them are splitting it 3 ways instead of 2 ways, so we're all helping each other out, and it's working out great. And it's relatively low cost, but it's not no cost. So I said I'm gonna have to sell my feet on the internet to, like, recover from this whole summer of all the traveling that I've done, because it's just, like, so much. It is a spend, So everyone here watching and giving me your time and your chat and subs and all that stuff helps me, because every little bit that I make on this channel goes directly to funding these cons and these experiences, and all of you being here and just giving me your time, I'm extra grateful to it because it helps me. So and I get what you're saying, Anna, that, like, you didn't want to ask and you didn't want to seem needy. This opportunity fell in my lap. I will say, I am a squeaky wheel. I have no problem asking for things, because honestly, the worst thing that somebody could say is no. Like, there's no harm in asking sometimes if you do it right, if you do it with tact and with confidence and professionalism. Then if you get a no, then you got a no, and that's the worst thing that happened, you know. But this time, I didn't. Oh, thank you, Bobby. Thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. That's really nice. But this time, I did not have to ask. I actually didn't expect to go to Gen Con. I thought about it because I knew I had some friends that were going, and I really did think about it. But I just resolved in me that I was like, okay, I'm doing too much travel, and I'm not going to get to go, and it's a little bit too much, blah, blah, blah. But then, this company offered it to me, and they were like, hey, are you going to Gen Con? I'm like, no, I'm not going. I was thinking about it, but I'm not going. And they're like, well, we have tickets for you if you want to go. I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm going now. So yeah. So here we are. And, it's funny because my friends, like, this is all new to my friends too, like, they don't know this side of me, and this is all, like, so new and so fast, that they're, like, trying to make plans with me this summer because they know I'm off work, and, like, usually I have a lot of plans with them, or we go to the beach, or do whatever, and they're like, when are you free? Let's go grab a drink, let's go do this thing, let's go blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, I can't, I'm traveling, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and they're like, wow, you're, like, always somewhere, how do you have the money for this? I'm like, I don't. So yeah, they're like floored by what I do, and my mom thinks I'm in a cult, so we're doing great. She's like, I don't understand why somebody would pay for you to go somewhere and do things. Like, how are you not poor? I'm like, Mom, I got it, okay? Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. She's like, this sounds like a cult. I'm like, alright, believe what you need to. It's fine. We're great. We're good. Alright, we're on to blue. Blue is the last color. And then I have like a multicolor pack. I don't know if I'm going to get there because I'm pretty tired, but I'm going to try to at least separate out all the blue because I'm so proud of how much I got done today. It was absolutely necessary. So, thank you all for lingering and chatting and keeping me busy. This has been such a good conversation. I feel like we talked about a lot of really relevant and important topics. And we need to get more women creators and, minorities in like leadership spaces and invited guest spaces at cons. I feel like there's so much representation in the gaming community that is not visible in the invited spaces. And at Indie, Anna and I were invited creators, and as a result, we were able to meet with Sheldon Menery and Rachel Weeks, Covert Go Blue, Dana Roach, and a bunch of other creators who were also invited, Wizards employee. And Sheldon led this kind of table talk, and he said, what can we do better, or what can the RC do to help the community, or to help streamers that are maybe smaller scale or whatever. And I said, well, I don't know what you could do to help, but respectfully, the community is a whole lot more diverse than just a bunch of, like, fogey white men, And they tend to want to hear information presented to themselves by people that look like themselves. They want to get trusted information from folks that live their experience in this game and in this community. And that means giving voice to minorities and marginalized genders and women, people in the LGBTQ plus community, disabled folks, making content accessible. And I feel like I said this is a hot topic right now. I feel like people are talking about that within their own spaces, and we're singing the praises to Wizards for creating more diverse cards and more diverse characters in the lore, but are we seeing the same diversity represented in the gaming spaces and in competition spaces? Are the people going pro and winning championships diverse? Are the people invited to creator spaces diverse? Are the people getting showcased by larger organizations like the RC representative of the community itself? And these were topics that I brought up, and I hate to point it out, but this was a round table of 8 people, and I was the only person of color in that round table. And that is because I was the only person of color invited as a content creator. I believe there was also one other Latino man that was an invited artist. But as far as content creators, I think I was the only person of color. Yes, there were people of the LGBTQ community, and yes, there were men and women. So it was like diverse in other areas, but I was the only Latina or person of color in any way in both Indy and Philly. And while I don't believe that was purposeful, I truly believe that the events were thrown together very quickly, and that content creators had to be invited very quickly. And I don't think that they were checking off a list. They were looking for dynamic creators that, were personalities to run panels and game shows and things like that. And they cared about that more than necessarily ticking the boxes of diversity. They didn't really have the time to deep dive into lesser known creators or people who didn't who weren't squeaky wheels and said, hey, look at me, here's why you should pick me. And I am in very many ways a squeaky wheel, and I get picked because I put on the song and dance, and I'm like, look at me, this is what I do, I want this opportunity, and I will work hard because I want it, and this is what I can do for you. And I sell myself a little bit, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So far it's been working, and because I've gotten yeses from some places, as a result, I've been invited to other places because they've seen what I can do when I'm there, and that's given them the vote of confidence in me. And I do speak up for representation in the community. I think it's important, and that's something that needs to improve. So I'm really, really grateful for the spots that I have when I am representing a company as a featured creator, because it's not just for my personal gain. In my opinion, it's the gain of the community, because I think that we all need to rise together and we all need to work harder to make sure that inclusion is at the forefront. And that is something that is really important to me, that I don't think gets enough attention. Yeah, Bobby, I think I think you need to put yourself out there and trust in yourself, because you're great at what you do and everybody else thinks so too. Like, you're not, you know, we all know what you're capable of. And I know Pastimes gave us all a chance, and we had to work for that. Pastimes did not, you know, I understand that some of us are lesser known and it was a big group, and it's not easy for a company to say, yes, we're going to pay for all of you to show up at this event and have tickets. You know, like, that's not an easy thing for a company to do for 8 people. So they took a big chance on us. And I'm grateful for that, because I think they saw what we can do, and I think they feel better about us now knowing that and seeing that, and it just takes one little step, it takes one person's little vote of confidence, and once you have that foot in the door, all you have to do is keep up the impression, like if you continue to impress them, then other opportunities will arise. And I've been a yes man this whole year. So I have just said yes to every opportunity because I'm afraid that the day I say no, the opportunities will stop coming. So while I'm able to, I have said yes. And so I have been very busy. I'm very freaking poor. But I keep saying yes. So we'll see where it takes me. I'm grateful. We've got 2 font of magic, so that's good. And I'm gonna just carelessly throw them in the same fucking sleeve like a real savage. It's fine, everything's fine. They're in there. I got this one that's like stamped, like the pre-release stamp. They're going together too. Everything's fine. It's all fine. Just keep them nice and tight and safe. Thanks so much for listening to my banter and my ranting, because I know I can go on and on and on about a topic. I feel like, it's funny because I never planned to be a streamer. I never thought of myself as a streamer. It just kind of happened by accident, and it fell into my lap. And I don't know why I never thought of it before, because I'm an only child, and I have played alone so much in my life, and I'm so used to literally doing things and talking to myself as I do them. I used to play teacher and set up all my toys around the bed in a circle, and I would make them tests and make them do work. And I would always have a bad kid in class, so I'd pick a bear to be the bad kid, and it would always be some generic white boy name like Timmy or something, and I'd be I'd do teacher voice and scold him for cheating or for failing or for being bad or whatever, and I just kept myself super busy, and I would write plays and put on puppet shows with my own toys in my room. And I feel like that's what streaming is, basically, is just being able to creatively talk to yourself and keep up a conversation essentially with yourself. So if the chat's not talking, are they just gonna sit there and watch you be quiet and do what you're doing regardless? Or do you have to fill the space? And I don't think everybody's very good at that. I don't think people are very good at filling the space all the time. Some folks just let it go silent, and some folks, can't keep the banter on their own, it's not easy. Uh, but if you're an only child, chances are you're probably really good at it. I feel like all only children should have a stream now. Oh, thanks, Bobby. Thanks so much. I honestly, like, silence tends to make me uncomfortable. Unless I'm completely by myself. Then I enjoy the silence. If somebody's, like, trying to overly talk to me when I'm enjoying silence, I'm like, shh. You know? But when I'm on stream and I know people are watching me, I feel compelled to talk to them and say something. And I don't like when there's extended periods of silence. It feels wrong. It feels weird to me. I feel like part of my entertainment is banter. And if I can't banter, then, why am I streaming? What am I doing? Like, people are sure, they're watching me do something, but they're also listening to me, and I don't want to just fill the space with silence all the time. I don't mind leaving some space for silence, but I like making sure that the space is filled. It comforts me. I don't just like hearing myself talk. It just makes me feel better when there's not silence. Yeah, I once took a like broadcasting type class as an elective, and it turns out I was really quite good at it, and my professor asked me to take like the advanced course the following semester, but if I did, it literally would have made me extend, like I would have had to graduate late over one class, so I just didn't have room in the schedule to like fit it in, and I didn't want to do that to myself. I didn't want to, even though I really enjoyed it, and I probably could have like maybe even changed majors and done something with it. I just was like, I need to finish. I don't want to be here forever. And I don't want to say that I have a regret of it. I don't really regret it. It was the right move at the time. But I wish I had more time to take more broadcasting courses, because it was sort of formatted almost like live broadcasting. It was like delivering news and switching from screen to screen, and we learned that like when you're watching a live show, almost like the Oscars or something like that, they don't keep the camera on the same angle or the same person for more than like 4 or 5 seconds. So we did have like a full studio, and we had like 3 cameras, and we had different things happening at different places in the room, and we had to like, whoever was in the booth had to, one person was watching and the other person was switching cameras, and you had to, if you were directing, you had to tell the other person like, okay, camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, camera 2, camera 1, every like 4 or 5 seconds, because it was just too uninteresting if the viewers were watching the same thing for too long. And if you watch the news or a live like award show, you'll notice that. Watch how long the camera stays on the same person. If it doesn't switch, or the person isn't doing something different or changing angle, or like the blurb next to them doesn't shift like in 4 seconds, you lose viewership that fast. So it's wild. It's wild to see like the behind the scenes of that, and it was really fun. It was a really, really good class. So I hate that I wasn't able to take more classes. Oh, actually, I have the back set. I hate that I wasn't able to take more classes in broadcasting, but it was really interesting. there's so many creatures in this that I have to group them by like a couple letters. So I have to do like A through D or something like that because there's just too many to lay out. We can go I. So I'm kind of doing like half the alphabet at a time. And I'm trying to look up too, like every so often look up and see if there's a comment or, you know, go back. I love an active chat, but I also like have FOMO, so like I need to make sure that I didn't miss something, and I will always like pause the chat or scroll back if people were like extra chatty, and if people were like, you know, if the chat scrolled by too fast and I just saw that the chat was like really like active, I love that. That's great. But I will always go back because I'm like, I have to see if I missed something. Like, I don't want to not answer a question or something like that, you know? I always got worried. I'm like, please don't fall off the table. Oh no, did I do damage? God damn it. Alright, we're so close. I don't think I'm going to get to the multicolor today, but I am going to finish the blue because all I have are just the creatures, and I'm almost there. We did it. That wasn't too bad. It was a long night, but yeah. I had already done, prior to starting, I had already done the lands in the colorless. And I started with white today, so I don't know if I did J, but whatever. We'll do that. We'll go back to it. So in like 2 hours, we are able to do all the 5 main colors. And then tomorrow, I'll just do the multicolor, and I'll move on to another set. So it's not too bad. I thought it would take longer, honestly. Right. Hey. Ooh, there's a lot of these. Okay, let's only keep 4. Yeah, I'm finished. I finished all the monocolors, and there's in Baldur's Gate, thankfully, there's not a whole lot of multicolor, so I don't think there's a whole lot for me to go through. See. E, F, G. Oh, I do have again. I really like those like etched cards. I think they're so pretty. And they don't curl like the foil, so it's nice. G, H, I. Why is she over here? There's a bunch over here. I did not know that. I mean, I assume that, but I did not know that. I honestly cannot believe that that went through the Roe v. Wade thing. Like, I'm just so... I was like, this shit is Handmaid's Tale. Like, people be fleeing to fucking Canada. It's crazy. Like, I saw this, like, news article. There's a video piece of, a hospital or an abortion clinic that waited to hear the news, and then once they did, they had to, like, go out into the office or the waiting room and say, like, sorry ladies, we can no longer perform the procedures, and that there were women, like, hysterical, crying and gripping onto the nurses and, like, begging them and offering them money and all kinds of, like, tragic stuff to, like, try to get the nurses to excuse me to perform the abortions, and the nurses were like, we can't, and there were other women who were like needed like life-saving abortions, and they were going to die, and the doctors couldn't perform emergency surgery immediately. They had to call their attorneys to make sure that they weren't breaking any laws and that they wouldn't lose their licensure if they performed the necessary abortion to save the mother's life. And there were people who were like internally bleeding for hours, because the doctors weren't sure that they could legally save somebody, because abortions were no longer legal in their state. And that's tragic. That is so horrible. So it's good that you're looking up facts, because all I know are stories, and it's really, really tough to hear. So I'm really incredibly proud. That's another thing that I'm really proud of the Magic community, because there are so many do-gooders in this community, and as much money as we spend on cards and playing the game and traveling to go to be able to play the game, we are also very generous in giving back to worthy causes. And I don't know a lot of other game players that do that. I don't know very many other, like, widely played games that focus so much on giving back to worthy causes. So that is a thing that it's very noble and important to me, and it attracts me about this community as well. We're almost there. This is the very end of the blues. There it is. I was like, I know I had one of these somewhere. Okay. I have a frick ton of that Kenku Artificer, so... This is like a list card, but I'll just keep it in here. Alright, maybe no, maybe I won't. I'll put it aside. That one. Alright, P. I didn't do a J, so I'll throw a J in. Yes. Come on. B. Oh, this cough. I need to get cough drops tomorrow. I feel like that'll really help. Or like Dayquil or something. And one. Alright, I think we got there. So all these solid monocolors are sorted and colorless in the lands. And all we have left to do is this small pile of multicolor, which is going to take a little while because there's a lot of possible combinations. And I do want to make sure that I put together all of the ones that rightfully should go together. And then I'm going to sort out the remainder of the small piles of what do you call it? Like stragglers that I didn't put away from like Mukapena and Kamigawa. And then I have 2 boxes of Double Masters to put away, 2 boxes of Commander Legends to put away, and a couple stragglers of like older packs that I've opened. So yeah, not too bad, folks. Thank you so much for joining me and for lingering. I know it was super late night, but I really appreciate it. I don't know. I guess we'll raid Asian Avenger. He's playing Magic, and I love him, so, hang out at least until the raid goes through, just so we can say hello. Thank you so much, Bobby, for gifting the sub, and for Miss Eldritch for the sub as well. and for everyone who hung out and spent time with me and gave me advice and just had conversation. Thank you. It was really meaningful, and I appreciate it so much. Sleep well, everyone. I love all my friends. I love all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hang tight until I complete the raid. I'm just going to go in and say hello. And have a good night. Thanks so much. We'll be heading over